Hello, I'm your student's U.S. history teacher, Mr. Lawyer. And I have been here for 31 years, in which I have taught U.S. history for 31 years. I was joking with some of your students, I probably taught some of you. So this class is U.S. history. We start right after the American Revolution. We spend a little bit of time talking about federalism, but we concentrate heavily on the cause of the Civil War, slavery, and the beginning of the American conflict of the Civil War. After the Civil War, we'll talk about the westward expansion and the settlement of the West and the conflicts with native populations. We'll then talk about the Industrial Revolution, and then eventually America's involvement in World War I, the beginning of the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties, and then start the Great Depression. The course is 2 semesters. In second semester, we start with the Great Depression, go to World War II. After World War II, talk about the Cold War, and then we take a little bit of talk about American culture. We talk about the Civil Rights Movement. We talk about the influences of different media formats like movies, television. We talk about the changing roles of women in America. We talk about the technology advancements and how America became a global power and how your world today is shaped by the things that happened in the past. So that's what we should finish around probably early 2000s is where the class should stop second semester. Your student has to be a member of the Google Classroom. Most of the work, like at the very beginning of the course, we've done things non-electronically, but from this point on, from basically the Civil War on, is almost everything will be online. So if they're gone, anytime they're gone, any type of homework, any type of video we watched can all be completed online. So in other words, if we're watching a movie in class that has a worksheet, there's an electronic version online for your student to do at home. When they get homework assignments, typically from basically the beginning of the class, we had a little short period because students didn't have the Chromebooks yet. There were hard copies of assignments. From this point going forwards, almost 90% of the assignments will be online. Some assessments will be online. They can do them, use their notes even. The notes for this class are online. We do some notes on board, but to compensate for those things and what I see is what my purpose is to instruct your student, I also record video lectures. So the students in class get the lecture and discussion, but if your student is absent, they can simply go on to the Google Classroom and find the lectures, a version of the lecture right there for them. The rules are basically, we try to stress respect. Everyone has a right to an opinion, but we need to be respectful of each other's opinions. We also, as far as the grading policy, it's 90, 80, 70, 60. If students have late work, which we'll be mostly turning in through Google Classroom, once we pass back the assignment, there is a slight reduction, like maybe at most less than 5% of the grade, as basically, hey, everybody else got it on time. You got to make sure you get this stuff done. But overall, we try to work with the students and make sure they get everything in and that they are successful, even if they're late with turning things in. Tests, those combination of electronic and in-person. Essays, for the most part, will be done in person. Not remotely. We'll try to write those in class because when they go to universities, typically those are written in class. But some will be electronic. We'll do a little bit of both. Traditional, electronic, projects, individual work. It's a little bit of everything to keep your kids motivated. Try to think what else you need to know. I think that pretty much covers it. If you have any questions or concerns, make sure that you contact me. The best way to contact me is through email. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible, usually within a few, I can't say minutes, but maybe a few hours of when you've emailed me. Sometimes it'll be almost immediately. This is also what our classroom looks like. So the biggest things to know, 1, I'm here for your kids. 2 is that basically if they're home, sick, or you're out of town, this class can continue. Most of the materials for this class are online. And so they can simply go to the Google Classroom and it's right there for them. One thing I should know is we also post on the board. That's the weekly what we do. So it's right in the front of the class. I go over it regularly in class, and I post it every weekend the next week on the Google Classroom. So when students say, well, I didn't know, well, it's a little hard not to know. And I'm also going to start writing it on the door that they can read as they go out. So it's on the front of the room. I tell them every day what we're going to do this week and today. It's also posted on the door as they go out, and it's posted each week on the Google Classroom that they can simply see the entire week of what we're going to be doing. So they kind of know what's going on. So don't let them hoodwink you into thinking that they didn't know that things were happening. So like I said, they have to join the Google Classroom. And if they need anything, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help you and help them as best I can. So thank you very much. Bye.